The following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Go Cowboys! This is Mick Shots, streaming live on DallasCowboys.com and the official Dallas Cowboys app. Now, here are Bill Jones, Savannah Humoller, Everson Walls, and Mickey Spagnola.
And this is the place to come when news breaks regarding your Dallas Cowboys. Because you know that once we sign off the air here on Mick Shots, news will break about your Dallas Cowboys. It's a Wednesday here inside the SWBC podcast studio, and I have a prediction that after we're off the air, news will break about your Dallas Cowboys.
Well, Bill,
that's a
pretty good guess.
Why does that happen to us?
First we come on too early, then we come on too late.
Yeah,
come on.
The NFL rule for signing practice squad guys starts at noon.
Oh, it starts at noon. Is that
Yes.
Eastern time or Central?
That's our time.
Okay, Central time. So news will officially break about anyone being signed to the Cowboys practice squad at
Although the
noon
Cowboys
today.
probably won't make it official until they have all 16 guys signed because they don't want to drive anybody away that might sign here and say, oh, there's too many of that position. I'll go somewhere else.
Okay, so any reports that are out there about players signing with the Cowboys, nothing is official until noon today.
That's when they can start signing guys back.
Okay.
Because before they changed the rule, you had to wait till 3 o'clock. But they decided, well, teams are practicing. Let's get the practice squad together for the practice. And that's why they're practicing at night also, by the way.
Okay. All right.
One of the reasons.
Okay. So anyway, that's how we get things started. And on Monday, we got breaking news after we got off the air here, and that was that CeeDee Lamb has signed his contract, and I think everyone could have...
Go.
The holdout is over.
Let's go. Let's go. Let's go, baby. Let's do this.
And I think everyone could have predicted that Monday was going to be the day.
Sure, absolutely, especially since Jerry went communication cold on Saturday.
When Jerry goes communication cold, that means something's up.
Something's simmering for sure.
When you mean when he doesn't talk,
right?
When he refuses to answer a question,
he didn't say anything. He didn't mention urgency.
That is so unlike him.
Right?
So unlike him.
That's when you know something's close.
I know, but how great was it to see CeeDee yesterday at Cowboys night at the practice? He was just so happy to be back in this facility. His interview afterwards, oh my gosh, he was overjoyed to be back here with us. He said
Do you think he was overjoyed to be back here with us, or was there another reason that he was?
Well, not with us.
There's a few reasons here, Bill.
But I mean, we knew it was gonna happen. I mean, we all felt it was gonna happen. But he was not just happy because of that. He's happy because it's over. It's done.
And he gets to, as he pointed out, I get to do what I love to do. I get to go back and play football.
That's it.
Because he pointed out that he hadn't been in this building since the middle of January after the loss.
Let's just look at his numbers from last year, and that his off season was probably as professional as it could be. Considering the fact that he's not signed, he hadn't signed at the time.
But he had a contract.
But you also knew that he was going to be in shape when he got here.
Absolutely.
Because that's guys these days, they're not like we were back in the day, Spags.
You went to training camp to
get in shape. No, this guy and all of these professional athletes these days, it's a 24-hour, 365-degree deal.
And he said he'd be ready. He's been running. He said the only thing I haven't been able to do is have somebody kind of jostle me around,
like the contact a little bit,
contact to hit when you're going to catch the ball.
Guys like myself, guys like myself,
you're going to go
invading his
nail
space.
somebody.
Yeah.
And that's hard to simulate.
It is.
So he gets it done. It's an extension now, right? So because of the year he had on the contract, they rolled that money into the total package of what ended up being $136 million.
Okay.
So the 17.99 went into that package.
Okay.
And then they could lower his base salary this year to the minimum of 1.2, I think, 1.12. But what they wanted to do is prorate the $38 million signing bonus over 5 years.
Okay.
So they get to do it this year and then the 4 years of the extension. So good deal for him. But if you look at the guaranteed money, the last
It's
year
reported as 100
right.
million.
But that was what you can earn with play incentives.
Okay.
Okay.
But
So it's up to 100
Right.
million guaranteed.
but the final year of his contract, 2028, so final year of the extension, it's a $31 million base salary, and it's not guaranteed. So to me, I'm taking 31 out of the 36, dividing by 5, and it averages 30 million, or by 4, 30 million a year.
Okay.
So
As
it's
opposed to
right in
38.
line what everybody else is averaging, because all these
Yeah.
other numbers, the 140, the 138, or whatever, they were not counting that year that wasn't guaranteed. So the fact that he got $38 million signing bonus had a lot to do with what they already owed him for this year. So it's not out of line, because I saw something, I think it was in the San Jose paper, and they said, well, the Cowboys just screwed things up for San Francisco because they can't sign Ayuk to money like that, and they just set a precedence. And the guy didn't read inside the contract like what it really is. The other thing that wasn't pointed out, with Jefferson having like the largest,
Yes.
I didn't know this, but Minnesota has a 9% state income tax. So take 9% out of 140. That's $11 million
That's a lot of money.
that he doesn't get. The state gets.
9%. Wow.
So CeeDee gets all his here in Texas, right? No state income tax.
Right. And, the thing about these contracts, I learned that back in the day. Sometimes it's just about optics.
Right.
You can dangle numbers all
For the agent
Yes,
purposes.
exactly. Well, but for the team as well.
Yeah.
Because the team wants to say that they did right by their player.
Right.
So it's the same thing. You can talk about it all you want. You can flip these numbers here and turn these numbers here and divide this and all of that. When it comes down to it, it's just all about what looks good on paper.
See, and so many people want to say, well, if they paid them that, why didn't they do it a month ago? Well, you
Yeah.
don't know what they were asking for.
That's right.
And you don't know that maybe they wanted a 3-year deal instead of a 4-year.
And
extension.
negotiations are negotiations, bro. You
Right.
know what I'm saying?
It takes time. It takes a lot of patience.
It takes patience.
Time.
This stuff, you're talking about hundreds of millions of dollars, and then we're supposed to be getting it done like that. It just never happens. Although I am a bit concerned that we have 2 guys that we have to sign. I'm still concerned.
Oh,
about that.
but the other
I'm
2.
still concerned
Yeah,
about
of course.
that.
Well,
Yeah.
I think
and that's NFL football.
eventually Dax will get done. I don't know that I don't want to use the word urgency, but it'll get done. And then Micah, that's next year.
Yeah.
And even CeeDee mentioned yesterday in interviews how he's like, he wants to see the Dak deal get done because he wants to have that chemistry with Dak and that they're at the top of the leaderboards as
stay
far
there.
as those
That's
stats.
right.
And he,
That's right.
CeeDee even mentioned he wants Dak's done as well.
You're
So,
damn right.
yeah.
How many catches last year?
135.
Shoot, he wants
he's-
140.
he wants
He's
that as
looking
well.
for 140 now.
Yeah.
Think about the. I think one thing about CeeDee, I'm happy to see him get paid because he spent about the last 7 years getting other people paid. And that would be the quarterbacks that he has played with, going back to his time at Oklahoma. Baker Mayfield is not the first pick in the draft if he doesn't have CeeDee Lamb that he's throwing to.
Yeah.
Kyler Murray is not the first pick in the draft without throwing to CeeDee Lamb. And then he had Jalen Hurts, who wasn't the first pick in the draft. He was a second-round pick, but it contributed to Jalen Hurts' stock as well
right.
in the NFL. And then he comes to Dallas, and you got Dak Prescott, who's now about to get his second contract since playing with CeeDee Lamb.
Yes.
And here's the other thing about CeeDee. If you go back and look at his time as far as being a winning football player, go back to his time, and I saw this last night, at Oklahoma and here. Of course, he's been on 3 straight teams that have won 12 games in the NFL. Mm-hmm. His 3 years at Oklahoma, how many games a season did Oklahoma win?
12.
They won 12. They went 12-2 all 3 years. Mm-hmm. So 6.
Bill has to throw in the Oklahoma.
But seriously,
it's more of a CD thing.
6 of the last 7 years. The only year that CeeDee Lamb did not win 12 games in a season was the COVID year in 2020, when his rookie year when the Cowboys went 6-10, and they didn't have a full off season or anything.
And here's the best thing of him as a receiver: he can play all 3 positions. He's not just this, or he's not just that, which was the mistake I saw in the Mercury News. The guy said, "Yeah, they paid him."
The San Jose Mercury News.
Yes.
Why are you reading the San Jose
It
Mercury
came up. It came up on a headline when I went to Google, and for some reason I saw it.
And this will be the last time we mention them on this program.
Right. but again, here's how shoddy reporting. They pointed out that they paid all that money for a guy that lines up in the slot.
Oh, wow.
How do you make that mistake? He doesn't know what he's talking about, right?
Wow.
That's why this stuff online, you got to be careful about. You just got to be careful.
All right. You missed it, Chris. There's a
Mick Shot.
That's a big shot.
The Mick Shot about shoddy reporting.
The rant.
Just get
he
it
brings
right.
up the San Jose Mercury. Who? Why did you even give him?
Who still reads the
shout-out?
newspaper anyway?
Give him a shout out. Shout out. Come on.
Well, it wasn't because they were right.
There you go.
Yeah.
But here's the thing I like about CeeDee. It's the subtlety in his game. You know, he's a guy that there's no sense of urgency in what he does. And it's simply because he has the timing between he and his quarterback in his head. And I think that is extremely admirable. You look at him when he comes off the line of scrimmage, you wonder why he's open all the time. Because if I'm looking at him as a player, I'm going to think, oh, this guy, he would be easy to contact off the line of scrimmage. That is not the case. He has never shown that a guy can shut him down coming off the line of scrimmage in a press position. That's something that makes him the most comfortable target for a quarterback. Because he can see right away that this guy didn't get jammed at the line of scrimmage, and our play will continue because of what he did. Those kind of things are those subtle things that you really need from a consistent combination between quarterback and wide receiver. You got to have that kind of subtlety there because they know we're coming to him.
Right.
But yet you still can't stop him.
You know why that is? He's a master of his craft.
He really is. Mm-hmm. He truly is.
And it really goes back to his high school days even. I mean, he has never not known success. If you go back to his high school days in Houston, his senior year, he had 98 catches for 2,032 yards and 33 touchdowns. The yards is the 4th in the state of Texas history. And then without redshirt season or anything, he goes right into college and does the exact same stuff all through college. And then he goes right in as a first-round draft pick in the NFL, and it's just his arrow continues to point up.
I think he was doing it in the, I don't know what the league was called, what junior high level when he was playing in Houston, and they had this fancy team with a bunch of guys that ended up in the NFL, or at least at Oklahoma. The safety, Bill, the big safety from Houston, they were all on this same team. And one of the wide receivers that went to LSU, because they all had moved there during Katrina.
Katrina, exactly.
Right?
Because he's from Louisiana originally.
Yes, he's from New Orleans.
And so they had this young team. They were winning all the titles, like even national titles. So he's been a winner. And guess what else he adds? he adds to that running back room. Because if you remember last year, they started lining them up in the backfield and handing them the ball, pitching them the ball. And the threat of that takes away from what the coverage is.
So are we looking for him to gain about 500 yards this year?
Yeah, right. Well, and the other thing is he maintains he will be ready to play next Sunday. That the ramp up, they will put him through a ramp up, but that I don't know that he plays 50 snaps, but I think he goes out. And I went back.
I bet he does.
I bet he does.
You're probably right.
I bet he does.
If they have 50 snaps on offense, he'll be out there for 50. And if they
CeeDee Lamb will be there.
And if they have 90 snaps on offense, he'll be out there for 90 snaps on offense.
This reminded me of 1992 when Michael Irvin missed the entire training camp. The Cowboys were going to open the season on Monday night against Washington. He signed his contract Thursday, right? And it was a long negotiation back and forth. Local agent Steve Endicott was Mike's agent. And how about this? It was one of the biggest contracts ever signed by the Cowboys. It was 3 years, $3.75 million.
Wow.
And they were arguing over should it be 1.75 or 1.0, right? And they finally met at 1.25 a year. Mike showed up on Thursday, and they had seen him working out in pads during training camp. Here, Craig James was throwing passes to him, right? and so when he showed up, so it was Elvin Harper, Kelvin Martin, forgot who the other receiver.
Kevin Williams?
Not yet. Anyway, they had three, and Jimmy goes, yeah, he's not starting. He can't start.
Right.
Second play of the game, he came in.
Alexander Wright.
Yes, thank you.
God, what a comparison.
Right? And so he ended up with 5 catches for 89 yards with no training camp. They won the first 3 games, and
He
each
said
game
90. He gave himself 90 yards.
and each game his catches went up for the first 3 games that they started the season off with a 3-0 record.
So, I was going to say, if you think about CeeDee and his accomplishments and his drive, he's an old school player. You compare it to Michael.
And that was Michael's.
He has that same work ethic that Michael had.
That's it.
And that was kind of Michael's breakout season.
Yeah.
Because remember, he tore his ACL in '89. 90, he played half the season. 91, he was pretty good. But that was his big breakout season. No training camp. So I still have visions of Mike rehabbing with his ACL. And he was living in Carrollton at that time, where I was living.
Here comes the bicycle story.
Yeah. He's heard them, but they haven't.
Heard it too.
I want to know. I've heard
See that?
I've heard it.
And we have different listeners. Big Mike on the middle of Trinity Mills riding his bicycle down the middle of the road. It was a scary sight.
I must admit, Mike used to get on my nerves when I first met him. When that was that '89 season, and it was just tough. Even from the beginning, it was tough. And I just remember when he got injured, and he had on a weight vest, and he was bounding, trying to work. I'm like, oh, damn, that looks hard. I'm like, that. I had never seen anything like that. I mean, I've seen guys work hard. But coming off of that injury, and his determination at that time. Well, it went from this. I would see him in the jacuzzi area, and he was depressed. I mean, really depressed. And I remember talking to him, and I don't know what we just talk, and next thing you know, I see him out there bounding with that weight vest on, and that thing had to be. Seemed like it was close to 25-pound weight vest. Wow. And he was bounding off of 2 feet out there on the track in Valley Ranch. And I'm like, man, this guy's going to be ready.
And then he had to have a second surgery because the scar tissue built up.
Hell, he might have hurt himself trying to get ready.
Right.
25-pound weight vest, yeah.
All right. So I wonder, when we come back here on Mick Shots, is there room on this roster for a former 4-time Pro Bowl running back? What do y'all think when we come back here on Mick Shots?
Miller Lite is brewed with great taste and only great taste.
The Miller Brewing Company would like to issue a correction. Miller Lite is brewed to be less filling. What are you doing here?
Miller Lite tastes great.
Look, I'm just reading the script. It says less filling.
That's not what my script says.
Well, mine said.
We'd like to apologize for the previous announcers. Miller Lite is in fact less filling and tastes great. Time to shine, legal guy.
Celebrate responsibly. Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Beer. 96 calories and 3.2 grams carbs per 12 ounces. Fewer calories and carbs than premium regular beer.
Fall is here, and that means football is back, bringing all the delicious game day foods with it. As you prep for all the big games, tailgates, and watch parties, let Yo Quiero be your one-stop destination for all things home gating. Yo Quiero's fresh, flavorful, ready-to-serve guacamole, made with real Hass avocados, will score taste bud touchdowns as you cheer on the Cowboys. Yo Quiero's wide range of mouth-watering and versatile products can be found in your local grocery store's produce or deli section. Grab some today.
The Medal of Honor is our country's highest military award for valor in combat. More than 40 million individuals have served in the armed forces since the Civil War. Fewer than 4,000 have received the Medal of Honor. The National Medal of Honor Museum will be a place to preserve these legacies and inspire America. It's being built right next door to the Dallas Cowboys in Texas. Help us honor our country's greatest heroes. Learn more and get involved at mohmuseum.org.
I'm Dak Prescott, quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys.
And they snap it to Prescott, who looks right. It's not there. He escapes left. He'll run for a first down.
Just like football, when it comes to crypto, it's important to have a team you can trust. With blockchain.com, I know I'm in good hands. Since 2011, they've been trusted by millions around the world to buy, sell, and trade cryptocurrency.
Prescott's going to run this himself. Run it up the middle, and he scores.
Whether you're new to crypto or an active trader, they've got you covered. What are you waiting for? Get started at blockchain.com.
Back to Mick Shots.
Football is back. Come watch your Dallas Cowboys practice at training camp presented by American Airlines. Head to the Star in Frisco tonight for the season kickoff ceremony and open practice featuring a can't-miss performance by the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders and a welcome address from Jerry Jones. Training camp is free and open to the public. Visit dallascowboys.com/training camp for more information.
All right, we continue now with Mick Shots, and as we alluded to off the top of the show, we expect news to happen after we get off the air, and Mickey specifically said noon today is when practice squad signings can occur, so we are assured that the Cowboys will have a practice squad this year, and so there will be signings.
That's right.
At noon. May not be announced at noon, but they will become official at noon, and Mickey, there are reports out there, and it's coming from a player's agent that a certain 4-time Pro Bowl running back is headed here to Dallas.
Are you talking about Dalvin Cook?
That would be Dalvin Cook.
Came in yesterday for a visit. My understanding is if he was signed, it was most likely going to be to the practice squad because he's not ready to play. He had no ramp up. They'll have, by time he gets signed, they'll have one padded practice tomorrow. They'll have one padded practice next week, and that's it. And he had no training camp. So they can put him on the practice squad, and they could ramp him up. And then if they want to elevate him for one game, you see how things go, you can elevate him then. But I think that's where the interest is in. I'm also told that they would welcome back Carl Lawson, the defensive end that they brought in and then released. He's another guy. He's not ready to play, but if he'll sign to the practice squad, that will give him an opportunity to get in football shape.
He's not ready to play a full game.
Right.
Because he did play the other day.
Yeah, he played, half a dozen snaps, 10 snaps, something like that. And that's what probably determined how well he did. They were also looking at, I'm going to forget his first name, Bowser, defensive end
Bowser
from East Texas.
Tyus Bowser.
Yeah, Tyus. And they were kind of interested in him. Now, he had at least been in training camp. So that'll be one that they're also interested in. But the new rule, I'm told, on the practice squad, if you're a veteran guy, you used to be able to sign those guys for whatever. Now it's a $21,000 a week maximum. So it's a little different than the young guys that are getting $12,000 a week, which is a heck of a lot more before when they started.
21,000 times 18, that's $378,000 a year.
Not bad, huh?
To be a practice squad guy.
I go out there. I go out and hold the blocking dummy.
And the weeks that you do get elevated to the varsity,
then you get whatever your contract says.
Yeah. So
I want to go back to our mention of Dalvin Cook for a second.
Thank you,
just an incredible tenure in the NFL. I mean, from 2019 to 2022, he had 4 back-to-back over 1,000-yard seasons. 2023 spent time with the Jets and the Ravens, but there he didn't have too much playing time for either of those teams.
Right.
I'm only seeing 214 yards overall. But I think that could be an incredible match if that's the case. And like you said, he's definitely not ready as of this moment. But practice squad, I can see how they can maybe
what happened
see
to
what
the
they
guy?
do there.
What happened?
Not sure.
Injury?
He had an injury.
He had shoulder surgery.
Surgery.
He had shoulder surgery, and he feels like, and that was the word before he came here to work out.
How major was this shoulder? I mean, how bad was it? Because everything changed.
It definitely had a drop off in 2023.
What happens?
Yeah, he had 2022. He had over 1,000 yards, right?
Mm-hmm.
What happens to running backs after they get past 28?
No, it's not that kind of drop.
How old were you when you finished?
33.
You made it to 33.
I made it to 33.
Okay.
But with him, this drop off is
significant
within 1 year.
Or maybe he just didn't fit into whatever the other teams were doing.
He and the Jets, there was a disaster. Now, did that have something to do with his shoulder or not? These are the questions.
Yeah.
Have you seen the Jets' offensive line?
Well, see, there you go. Okay, so
go ask the quarterback.
But damn, he goes from 1,100 plus yards to what was it?
To 214.
Yeah, come on, man. I'm sorry. I need to know more because this guy was one of the best running backs in the NFL at one point.
And then he went to the Ravens at the end of the year, and they actually used him in the playoffs. He had 8 carries for 23 yards, 2.9 yards a carry in the playoffs last year.
And that was the game they lost, right?
Yeah.
Kansas City.
So, I'm when you look at it on paper, this is a great sign.
It's a win.
If he's ready to play football and still has something.
Okay, once again.
But it's good to check it out. No, I'm saying it's good to check it out.
I know, all I'm saying is I'm not going to chalk this up to, running backs, they after 29, whatever. I'm not chalking this up to that. I want to know what's wrong with what happened with this kid who had over 1,000 yards in 2022.
And by the way, let me correct that. He did not carry the ball against Kansas City. It was their playoff win against Houston. He had 8 carries for 23 yards.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, because we look at this potentially, this could be huge. But I just want to know what happened to this young man to where shoulder surgery or just the whims of what happens with NFL players comes about. I think this guy. I don't know. I look at him as potentially a game breaker for us, a game changer for us. Potentially.
I'm with you, Everson.
Yeah. That's why it's worth taking a chance on it, to bring him in here. He's not taking up a roster spot right now, and then see how he looks over the course of, they saw how he looks in one little workout yesterday. Now we see how he looks over the course of some time and then measure it against the others. And it also provides insurance in case you have an injury to one of your running backs on the roster right now.
Because they don't we'll find out what practice squad insurance they would have at noon. Or we might
after we sign out there.
Right. Yeah.
Well, I mean, other guys that they would be looking at would be Malik Davis and Royce Freeman, who they had in here.
I would think that they would bring those two guys back.
They cut. Yeah, they did. They cut Malik. Yeah.
Speaking of roster spots, yesterday we got down to the 53-man. How did we do on our predictions, Mickey?
I think we were right on every one of them.
Yeah, every single one of them.
We were pretty close.
It's like Mickey had a pipeline to the personnel department and knew exactly what was going to happen.
I did find out a little bit of why Peyton Hendershot was going to be expendable. And I thought I saw it in training camp, but I didn't take the time to look. And I'm not sure what they listed his weight at, but he had gotten like into 220s.
Who's that? I'm sorry. Who's
Peyton Hendershot.
Oh, yeah.
He was a more slender tight end anyway.
Yeah.
And he had battled injury problems here and even in training camp. He was.
So they were looking for different dimensions in that fourth guy, well, the third and fourth guy. Well, John Stevens, he gave him a different dimension. He's down the seam, kind of former wide receiver that's a tight end. And then with Spawn Ford, he's more of a prototype tight end. They really liked what he can do.
6'6.5", 260 pounds.
Yeah, as a rookie
I told you
free
tight
agent.
ends are going to take over the world, right?
Yeah, right?
I mean, come on, man. These guys are studs.
Well, think about the teams that made it deep in the playoffs last year and what they had at tight end.
Yeah.
Think about the two Super Bowl teams. You got Kelsey and Kittle there.
And the ones that didn't make it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Come on, Andrews. Yeah,
That's where all the power forwards in the NBA
That's
went.
right.
They're in the NFL at tight end.
Look at Detroit, Laporta at Detroit. Yeah.
So that was one reason that they were getting calls, I understand, about him. So instead of releasing him, they got a future
The guy
draft
that I
choice.
mentioned, did we talk about him? The one that I thought looked good, but you say he was a former fullback?
Princeton
Fant.
That's Fant.
I bet
He'll be a
squad.
practice squad guy, I bet. Yeah.
Because they kept 4 tight ends.
Yeah, so they kept obviously Ferguson, Schoonmaker, John Stevens, and then Brevin Spanford out of Minnesota. So the guy he's like 6'6",
6'6.5", 260.
Yeah, he's the big
guy.
one.
And they kept 4 running backs, as we sort of predicted.
Okay.
Well, 3 running backs and a fullback.
Right.
Hunter Lippy.
Yeah, well.
Who's also can do
I
tight
clumped
ends.
them all
His
together,
guy.
right? Yeah.
He just had to point that out. That's his
So
guy.
actually, they have 5 tight end types on their roster, if you
Including what,
include,
Hunter?
So I shouldn't say they got 10 defensive backs.
Which also
That's
means
5 safeties and 5
Which also
corners.
means they have 4 quarterbacks on the roster, because I think if you could put Hunter Lippy at quarterback.
Okay,
No,
stop. Enough with Hunter.
I like that. Yeah, Deuce Vaughn back in the mix there. You know, I like seeing how they may end up utilizing him.
Man, I thought it was going to be tough for him making
Yeah,
the team.
I mean, it looked, it was kind of 50-50 at that point, you know, at the end of training camp. But I like how, you know, he's here.
Offensive line was going to either be Wiletsko or Ball. They chose Wiletsko.
And Ball's gone.
Ball's got released. And, I mean, linebackers, we about had it with Buddy Johnson. They're keeping him. They also, on the defensive line, made room for Linville Joseph. So they signed him to a 1-year deal. Another 36 years old? Is that what I saw on
2
him?
old guys. We got 2 old guys now.
I worry a little
Phillips
bit about getting old.
He'll turn 36 in October, I think.
Okay.
That's why they probably limit their plays.
Yeah. He'll play a
rotation,
snaps,
right?
dozen snaps a game.
And by
Put
the
him in
way,
during key moments of the
it got reported that he signed 1 year, $4 million. It can be $4 million.
Okay, up to.
The base is $2 million. So, you know, it's another guy that you take a look see and.
And it's a long season.
Yes, it is.
Right? Especially for nose tackles, right? So they needed some experience behind Mozzie. It's not like they're saying, okay, Mozzie can't do it. He's still the starter, but this guy will add some experience and bulk, by the way.
You know, I must admit I was a little bit remiss in watching preseason games of any team. And I finally saw a kickoff. You know.
Wait, let me guess.
What'd you think?
It went to the 28-yard line.
Well, no, they downed it. It was the back of the end zone.
Right.
So these are the criteria for kickoff. You don't, obviously, if you catch in the back of the end zone, they still don't want to return it. They feel like that messes up the timing.
Come out to the 30.
Yeah, it does. But I mean, running it out.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Might as well just take it at the 30.
Right. So
now,
they don't like doing that. So they don't like bring it out. Like if you're at the back of the end zone, they don't like bringing that out. I saw that much.
So there was talk, and I think they still have time to do this. I don't think anything has been decided for sure about this, although they did have a special owners meeting this week, and maybe they passed on this idea, because the rule right now is if you kick the ball into the end zone on the fly, it comes out to the 30.
Yeah.
Well, when you, as Mickey said, the 28-yard line, what the average starting position on after every kickoff is basically the 28.5-yard line. And so if they're trying to encourage more kickoffs, then there was a thought amongst the coaches that, okay, how about we bring it instead of bringing it out to the 30, bring it out to the 35-yard line, and that would keep teams from kicking into the end zone as much. And so, which would encourage more kick, because you might as well, if the average is you're getting out to the 28, well, just don't risk that someone could break one on you, and just, what's 2 yards?
Well,
but 7 yards is a little different.
Think if you're kicking to Kevontae Turpin.
Yeah.
You want to take the chance that you're going to tackle him, or you want to just put the ball at the 30-yard line.
But the ideal thing is that you bounce it into the end zone. If it lands in the landing zone between the goal line and the 20 and then goes through the end zone, it comes out to the 20-yard line. We saw that in the game the other day.
Okay, did not know that.
Yeah.
Did you notice that at some points in that game, the referees didn't know, the officials didn't know where that ball was going, and the team didn't either?
That was after they were experimenting with the 6-man crew too.
Oh, because they had
what they did in
guy.
that I think every game they did this across the league. The third preseason game, the officials experiment with, okay, what if during the regular season one of our officials went down with an injury, and so they had, like in this case, it was the down judge who was during the course of the game promoted to referee, so he's got to make all the calls and all the decisions.
What makes
on
them think it's going to be an injury to a referee?
Because they sprain an ankle. There's no
once in a while,
or
but
they get
to
hit.
make a point.
But just in case, no, it was just that's their chance. That's their chance to give reps to someone who, if in an emergency situation, got thrown into having to announce on national television.
Just in case
what
there's
just
a
happened.
Nothing else to do. So
and by the way,
go ahead.
I was going to say, by the way, on the roster, so CeeDee gets a roster exemption. I think it can be up to 2 games, so he doesn't count against the 53.
But if he's playing in the game, he does count.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. Well, obviously, you don't get an exemption to play.
I was thinking like, whoa, really?
Wow,
even if he plays? He's like invisible.
They also, Deron Bland had his surgery the other day.
Yeah.
So, and they put him on IR recall. So you had the ability before the 53 to put 2 guys on IR recall, so he's one of them.
Mm-hmm.
Is this an injury that could affect his ability to cover after?
Well, you get over it.
Because you've had this before, right?
I had it.
Yeah.
That's what I'm asking, for real, because,
I didn't have to cover.
Right. I mean, this guy's got a back pedal.
But it's your 5th metatarsal, so it's the bone that goes into your little toe.
Which doesn't tell me anything.
What do you mean?
I'm just trying to figure out what kind of problems will he have.
Not be
what can we expect when he comes back?
Right.
It's not lasting.
It has to heal, though.
Yeah.
Of course, we know these things. I mean, after all of that.
So he would have a problem until it heals.
The one you should ask about is it's the variation of a high ankle sprain that a Doga suffered, and so basically what happens is the fibula and tibia separate, and they're supposed to be together.
Yeah.
So they have this surgery. It's called a rope surgery. They kind of tie it together to get the bones back to no space between them.
Yeah. You seem very proud of the fact that you know that. That's not why I asked you the question, so you can be proud of yourself.
I put extra for you.
And when you had the fractured 5th metatarsal, you were out how long?
3 months.
3 months. He's going to be out 3 weeks. He'll be back.
That's what they told me if I was a professional athlete.
Yeah. All right. We continue with more Mick Shots in just a moment.
The Medal of Honor is our country's highest military award for valor in combat. More than 40 million individuals have served in the armed forces since the Civil War. Fewer than 4,000 have received the Medal of Honor. The National Medal of Honor Museum will be a place to preserve these legacies and inspire America. It's being built right next door to the Dallas Cowboys in Texas. Help us honor our country's greatest heroes. Learn more and get involved at mohmuseum.org.
Miller Lite is brewed with great taste and only great taste.
The Miller Brewing Company would like to issue a correction. Miller Lite is brewed to be less filling. What are you doing here?
Miller Lite tastes great.
Look, I'm just reading the script. It says less filling.
That's not what my script says.
Well, mine says...
We'd like to apologize for the previous announcers. Miller Lite is in fact less filling and tastes great. Time to shine, legal guy.
Celebrate responsibly. Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Beer. 96 calories and 3.2 grams carbs per 12 ounces. Fewer calories and carbs than premium regular beer.
Fall is here, and that means football is back, bringing all the delicious game day foods with it. As you prep for all the big games, tailgates, and watch parties, let Yo Quiero be your one-stop destination for all things home gating. Yo Quiero's fresh, flavorful, ready-to-serve guacamole, made with real Hass avocados, will score taste bud touchdowns as you cheer on the Cowboys. Yo Quiero's wide range of mouth-watering and versatile products can be found in your local grocery store's produce or deli section. Grab some today.
I'm Dak Prescott, quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys.
And they snap it to Prescott, who looks right. It's not there. He escapes left. He'll run for a first down.
Just like football, when it comes to crypto, it's important to have a team you can trust. With blockchain.com, I know I'm in good hands. Since 2011, they've been trusted by millions around the world to buy, sell, and trade cryptocurrency.
Prescott's going to run this himself. Run it up the middle, and he scores.
Whether you're new to crypto or an active trader, they've got you covered. What are you waiting for? Get started at blockchain.com.
Back to Mick Shots.
Mex Tour is back. Head to AT&T Stadium on Tuesday, September 10th for a showdown between the Mexican and Canadian men's national teams. Don't miss another exciting soccer match in Arlington. Tickets are on sale now at SeatGeek.com, the official ticketing partner of AT&T Stadium.
Mm-hmm. All right, our final few minutes of Mick Shots, and we reconvene next week, right? Like Tuesday after Labor Day. Okay.
Noon.
I got it, Chris. Got it.
Is that right, Chris? I got it right?
I got mine, too.
Noon during the regular season. All right, Mickey, what shall we talk about here in this last segment of the preseason?
Let's pick a position the Cowboys probably are zeroing in on to upgrade or still need to upgrade going forward.
I'm thinking if we're looking at defensive ends right now, far, Micah Parsons, DeMarcus Lawrence, Marshawn Nealand, and then Tyrus Wheat, but obviously Sam Williams going down in training camp this year. I think that's still a position that the Cowboys need to be paying attention to.
Well, think about what happens if you put Parsons at linebacker. So you got DeMarcus Lawrence, Nealand, DeMarcus Lawrence, Golston, Tyrus Wheat.
I forgot about Golston.
Yeah, because they moved him basically back to defensive end, and they cut Fihoko. So, it's a little thin there.
I like
he got placed on IR, didn't he? Billy Fihoko.
I believe he did, yes. Or released injured?
Yeah, waived injured, which typically that leads you to going on the injured reserve unless there's an injury settlement, which could happen. So. And the other thing at defensive end is Al-Quadin Muhammad is on the suspended list for 1 week. He still has one more game to serve on his 6-game suspension from last year.
How was the sack situation in regards to defensive ends for the preseason? Did we
none?
Yeah.
No, I don't know. I just remember the pressure wasn't great.
Your words and Bill's. That's what
I don't recall a sack.
But then Lawrence wasn't playing. Parsons wasn't playing.
Yeah, but damn, you got these young guys out there, man. You got to show up.
That's why it's a problem area that they're looking for help.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
No defensive ends have gotten any sacks.
Nealand played, But then at a certain point,
I don't think so.
But at a certain point, Nealand didn't play, because now, we can't afford to lose Nealand. We've already lost Sam Williams.
Good move. Good move. Yeah.
Protect him, put him in bubble wrap.
You know, if you have some young guys on the squad. I mean, I know the first thing Michael Downs thought about was making good reads and, of course, playing well on special teams. That was when he first came to the Cowboys, that's what he was doing. They were going to put him in their free safety. He's going to make some plays, going to make some tackles. When I got there, my whole thing was I got to make interceptions. That's the only way I'm going to be noticed. So as a defensive end, you got no pressure from any of the young guys?
They really didn't.
Come on, man.
So do you have
Who are these guys that we signed?
You have a position you're worried about?
Yeah, defensive end.
Oh, you too?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Savannah brought me up on this.
And Carl Lawson is a guy that they cut yesterday that sounds like he's welcome to come back on the practice squad.
Unless he gets a better offer.
Yeah, and so.
And it sounds like we're settling.
No. They're looking.
Okay.
Believe me.
Because, man, you got to have a defensive end that's going to make a sack.
A trade for Charles Haley.
Man, Charles could come out right now and get a sack. Well, I don't know.
And the other, well, it's your swing tackle on offense. I mean, if Tyler Guyton weren't able to play for some reason, or for that matter, Terrence Steele on the other side, you've got Matt Waletzko, who's a right tackle. And you got Awesome Richards, who has played at left tackle in the preseason, and he also played some at guard. But they have to be scouring the countryside looking for because the Chuma Edoga injury has put him in that position.
Can you remind me how long he is out for?
It's a toe injury.
It was. I was told probably till Thanksgiving.
Damn, a toe.
And he did have surgery.
Well, it was surgery.
Oh, okay.
It
ruined Deion Sanders' career. Jeez.
Yeah.
So
it was kind of the same thing. Torn ligaments.
Yeah.
Mine would be who's the fourth corner? Now that Bland's out for 6 to 8 weeks. Now 2 weeks will be leading up, so 4 games probably.
So you got
at least.
Lewis, Diggs. You got the young
Kalen Carson. And then the next guy up would probably be Andrew Booth, who was a second-round draft choice of Minnesota, and they traded him for Nashawn Wright. So I think they got to keep looking there because you're one injury away from that guy playing.
Akwamu's gone. Is he still there?
No, he's there, but he's kind of. I talked to him, and he said no one's talked to him about moving to corner. He's a safety. He'll play the nickel for you.
Yeah,
but that's it. If it's an outside guy, it's Booth.
What about Bell?
Safety.
He can't.
Wanye no. And Wanye Thomas can go in the slot. I told you on the dime. We talked about that. So. That's what I think they're looking at, and so we'll see what happens going forward, looking at the waiver wire.
I'm trying to look at the waiver wire right now, but it's going to be interesting to see what happens. There are players who made the team yesterday who's breathing this sigh of relief, and they calling home saying, Mom, I made the team.
Don't buy a house.
Across the league, it's like that.
Yeah.
And then they're finding out today, no, it's
maybe
pretty
not
much we
so.
need to sign this guy over here, and so we're going to...
That's not cool.
Yeah.
Because back in the day, when it was done, it was done.
But having said that, and I went back and looked at it from last year, and it gets back to how long a season it is and how many players you use, there were all but 5 players that were on the roster the last preseason game last year that were playing in the NFL in some capacity, either on a practice squad or the regular roster throughout the year. So we talk about how these preseason games aren't worth watching. Well, all these players that are playing in these preseason games are going to be on an NFL roster. That's the way things have changed in the league.
Yeah. So do we bid adieu to one of our partners?
We bid adieu.
Adieu?
Adieu.
Well, you know what? I'm going to give Everson this read sheet here because he's going to have to start practicing.
No, I'm not. I'm throwing this to Spags.
Oh, no. I had a discussion with Mickey yesterday. I need Everson to take some of this on
She promoted you to do do
I got to practice.
So you better step your...
Take it home and study. This is your homework.
This is my homework. Okay, thank you.
We need to thank
Savannah.
That's
for her diligent work joining us.
Thank you, guys.
Brought a smile to the show, brought some knowledge, and got better as the season went on.
And a difficult last name.
Hugh Moeller.
Hugh Moeller.
There you go.
Okay.
After
Done
all
and
this,
done.
you finally got it.
Otherwise, it's
been a
Savannah,
year,
Georgia.
but we
It's
made
Savannah,
it.
Georgia. As far as me and Nate Newton, Savannah, Georgia. That's it.
I know, but I'm so thankful for you guys. Thankful for Mickey for having me on. And I'm not going too far away. I'll still be around on game days.
Good.
So.
Oh, good.
All
Good. Excellent.
Well, thanks for your help. It's been
Well,
great.
Thank you guys.
This is all Spag's fault. So if it was up to me, you should.
Throw it in my lap.
Oh, yeah.
Appreciate
All right.
it, you guys.
Okay, and so next Tuesday at noon. Okay, the regular season grind begins.
But it's an off day for the players.
It's
So
not
are we every day next week?
Yeah.
Yep. So, all right. So that does it for the off-season and preseason edition for Mick Shots. Bill Jones, Everson Walls, Mickey Spagnola, and the great Savannah Humoler.
Savannah Humoler.
Thanks for joining us here for Mick Shots.
Thank you, Savannah.
Go Cowboys.
Go.
There
you go. Go, shit. You got it. All
This
yours.
has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys?